يا هلا 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 حن قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا حن قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا يا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا يا هلا ويا هلا ويا
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Let's Talk with me, Julie Alli. Thank you for your company. Lots coming your way. We'll be talking about the Pink High Tea, supposedly one of the biggest women's only event that is going to be happening in Johannesburg sometime in October. Dr. Fatima Baba, Dr. Fahima Ismail and Safira Kaka will come into studio to talk about this amazing event. We also will be joined by the Angamia family to talk about cochlear implants and the cochlear parent support group. But first up, we'll be looking at the Al Baraka Children's Home, and in studio we have Ali and Masood. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Great to have you guys, young men, and you have dedicated your lives to an amazingly worthy cause. I'm actually blown away, really. You young men, and you are so concerned, worried, and have put so much of love and care into a home which was started 3 years ago. So let's start with you, Ali. You told me that the home is now 3 years old.
Yes.
Why did you decide that you want to start a children's home, Al Baraka Children's Home, on the West Rand in a black township?
Yes. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me this an opportunity of getting up today and being at ITV, obviously sharing the experience and the work that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has selected us, you know. We always believe in the ayat of Quran, وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرُوا اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. We plan and plan, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best planner. Alhamdulillah, as I grew up as a child who was orphan as well. Being no mother, no father. Alhamdulillah, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He used a certain principle of Karim Musa Sidat.
MashaAllah. We all know him, don't
yes.
we? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of his efforts.
He was a good father to me. He was everything. It's where I learned Ubuntu. It's where I learned everything from him. And
how did your paths cross?
Your
path. How did you meet Kari Musa?
Okay, what happened when my mother, when she passed away, she had a family, friends, they were Muslims. So my mother told them, look, if it happen I die, please don't take my kids back to Durban, because we're coming from Durban original. Don't take them back to Durban. Please make sure you look after them. And because I don't want them to lose Islam, because Islam you got it from my mother. And then my family were very strong Christian, because definitely when we became Muslim, family of my parent, they were not happy at all. They were calling us devil worshippers and all those things. My mother told them, please don't take them away. Then my mother, when she passed away, and then my father, 3 months after my mother passed away, 3 months, my father passed away as well. Then they decided to take us to Darul Ulum Madrasa, Ziaul Badr in Chipistown. It's where we found home, the second home.
Did you live there permanently?
Yes, I was there for 5 years.
What you've also told me off air was that you had this dream, and alhamdulillah, you're living the dream.
Exactly.
Is to run a Muslim children's home in the township. But before we get there, let's hear what Masood has to say to us. Assalamu alaikum, welcome. You too have reverted to Islam over 16 years ago.
Yes.
What's your story?
My story is that I'm a child that was raised in a township as well.
Also an orphan?
Not really an orphan, but a child of a single parent that was raised by a single parent, no father. So on my life, the way I was living, it was not proper, it was not normal. I did not have a warm, comfortable home and familial environment. It was a kind of a home that you'll never understand it. Yeah, it was a kind of a poor background.
How did you then happen onto Islam? How did you learn about Islam and decided that this is the deen for me? And now also you're involved in the Al Barakah Children's Home, and it seems as if you're making it your life's work.
Yes. I started to be aligned and love Islam and become interested in Islam when I met Ali Mapumulo at the age of 12 years. Of which I started to meet him, and
How did you meet him?
At the madrasa.
Okay.
As I was the child that used to go to the madrasa, even though I was not interested by then, but then as time goes on, I got interested. Then I met Ali Mapumulo. We had a bond relationship. We connected at first and started onwards and like that we got on and got on and got on. I started to love Islam. I started to get I'm interested in Islam.
Ali Mapumulo, you are here. He's talking about you, obviously.
Yes.
So you then obviously got this deep love of Islam,
Yes.
and you had this amazing dream, and you've decided to put that dream into motion. You're running the home now for 3 years, but how did you get started, and why are you so bent on keeping the home in the township itself?
Okay. It'll be amazing if I tell you a story. It's what happened in the 2015, the month August, I remember. It's when I look at the background of mine where I'm coming from, and I look at the children situation, and one of my family members, what happened, she passed away. Then I had to take care of the children as well. And I look at the condition. If I don't take these children, where will they go to? They will go to obviously to the non-Muslims and all those things, and they will forget Islam. And I didn't have anything by then. I didn't have even my own house as well. Then it happened where I went to read 2 rakat of Salah, Tahajjud. Then I cried to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, said, Ya Allah, this is one of the dreams that I have. Oh Allah, please open up. In fact, the tear was coming out on that day, on that night. Then the next morning, just something told me, get up and go look for zincs. Because I told myself I'm going to do a zinc structure. I don't have to build a big building and all those things. It's from me, I just have to. I knew somebody tells me, you know what, Ali, there's one company, they're throwing zincs away. Just go there, it's in Tamswat. Just go and find out if they still have the zincs, So it happened, alhamdulillah, I went on that morning, When I reached there, they tell me, no, the zincs, they're gone, all it was given away. It's as I'm traveling, I met a brother. He used to help in our township in the month of Ramadan, giving some food, in the month of people to break Ramadan. He asked me, hey, Ali, what are you doing here? I said, look, I'm coming from a certain place to collect the zincs, but the zincs are finished. He asked me, what for? I told him, no, I want to build a zinc structure so I can put children, they can stay there. So why zincs? I said, what can I do? He said, why don't you build something, a proper house? I tell him, with what? I don't have anything.
No money.
No money. He said to me, how much will it cost? I said, I got no idea. He said, do you have a plan even? I said, I can even make a plan now. Wallahi, thumma wallahi. I did not plan this. I wrote the plan down and everything. I showed him, this is 2 rooms, this is how it should work. He said, okay, how many square meters and everything. The next day he phones me, Ali, the bricks and the cement and everything has been ordered.
And he's been your benefactor ever since?
Ever. He's the founder in the foundation and everything, alhamdulillah.
But he wishes to remain anonymous, so you can't share his name on air with us?
We can share. He does not have a problem. It's Zahir.
Okay, Zahir who?
From Postem. Zahir Aslam.
Zahir Aslam. So, and he still continues supporting you on the running of this children's home.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah, that's really absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So how many children are you housing currently at the home?
We have full-time students, meaning the full-time students who are staying there full-time, looking after them full-time, about 12 of them.
Different age groups?
Different age groups.
Girls and boys?
Girls and boys. We have 2 homes. One is for the boys, they are separated from each other, and other one for girls. So we keep them, we don't mix them, we keep them in separate homes.
2 separate homes side by side, next door to each other?
Not next door, street, just one street away from us.
How many house mothers do you have looking after them?
We have 2 house mothers.
Okay, so what is involved in looking after? All right, let's get back about the involvement and what the day-to-day activities look like. Let's ask you, Masood, very quickly. What is it that you do at the homes?
At Al Baraka Children's Home, I don't have a specific role. We don't have specific roles at Al Baraka Children's Home. We do flexible work. Like, I do administration, I do tuition for students, I do accounting as well.
Masters of all trades.
I do cooking, I do cleaning, I do everything. Like
anything and everything that is needed to run the homes. So how many people are involved, apart from the person that's funding the homes? How many people are involved in the day-to-day running of the homes?
Okay, we have two staff members that works at Al Baraka Children's Home, and we have 2 volunteers as well. They cook. They help us with cooking and cleaning. And we have 2 volunteers. They help with tuition. One is directly on physics and maths. He tutors big students on physics and maths. And the other one, he tutors on daily, on Monday to Friday, daily students. The smaller ones, he tutors them with all their subjects.
All right, we'll come back in a minute or two to check just how structured the children's home is running and the future of these children, and also hopefully, inshallah, future expansion as far as this home is concerned. I'm talking to Ali and Masood. They're here from the Al Baraka Children's Home, based on the East Rand right here in Johannesburg. Amazing story, and we do hope that you are going to think deeply about them, about these children, and help them expand so that we can get more and more children off the streets, orphan children obviously, expose them to the deen of Islam and help these 2 young men realize their dreams of making this home, Al Baraka Children's Home, a huge success. Ali Mapumulo and Masood Mpo are in studio talking to us about the Al Baraka Children's Home, which is based on the West Rand right here in Gauteng. You play a very important role in your community. I understand that the kids in and around that area refer to you as Daddy. How's that come about? And you've also suggested that that home is a refuge for children who are stressed out, who are possibly ill-treated, who don't get enough love at home. Yes. They kind of just gravitate and come to the home. Yes. How did you achieve all of that? How did you achieve the fact that people know that the home is a safe haven?
Each time when we have programs, when we do programs for the kids, we don't do only for our children who are staying in the center. We invite our children neighborhood. They will come and join. Each time when they play, we will watch them. We will take them out for picnic. We will take them out for ice cream. You know, there will be so much in the car, you know.
And it's an opportunity for dawah.
Exactly.
Exposing Islam, alhamdulillah.
Exactly. You never understand. We don't have a break Monday to Sunday. They know Saturday, Sunday, they don't go to school. We create a sort of school for them in the morning section where they will come and have breakfast. After breakfast, obviously we take out toys and they started playing and they will do everything. When it's prayer time, we call all of them to come and pray. Those who are not Muslim, they so pray. You understand? And some of them, they will go back to their parents, and a lot of them, they want to come to the madrasa in our community. We tell them, you know what, at the moment we have only one teacher who's teaching them, you know, because sometimes I have to run around to see out there to get bread, to get things for them to eat on that day, you know. So sometimes I don't have full time to teach them, but like we'll always tell them, please, maybe next year, not this year, we'll get an extra teacher, because one teacher is sitting with about 25, 30 students at once.
So what plans are afoot as far as expansion and growth is concerned? Because I'm sad to hear that you're having to turn children away who are interested in taking on the deen, alhamdulillah. why don't you approach the neighboring Muslim communities for that type of assistance? Because I'm more than certain they'll open-heartedly give you that support.
Yes.
Because anything to spread the word of Islam. Masur, what are the plans afoot?
The plans is to continue do the work. Our plan is not to get the financial assistance. Our plan is to do the work as much as we can. We
Can't do it without financial assistance.
Yes.
Maybe we'll say obviously we need an assistance, that we cannot run away from it. As we say, we want to grow and grow. So inshallah al-Aziz, if Al-Baraka can have many homes or a second home,
or more teachers, for example.
More teachers, you understand? More teachers, more stuff. So it will make the work easier for us if we can have more funds, because at the moment, to be honest, we are struggling. Though we look, alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala has kept us, we don't look worried. Even if you come to our center, you won't see any child that is stressed. We will make sure we cover everything for them.
3 meals a day.
3 meals a
Clothing.
day. We will make sure clothing and everything.
Medical attention.
Everything. Each time the child gets sick, I used to go to the clinic. Sometimes I'll spend the whole day at the clinic. Then I went to approach the nearby doctor. A doctor, alhamdulillah, is charging us 100 rand for a child. Each time the child is sick, we send the child to the doctor. It's much easier for us as well. And alhamdulillah, not only our children. Many times our children, you go, they will come, they've got no school shoes. We have to run around and ask somebody.
I really do have to say, Ali, that I've been told over and over and over again on this very show that the South African Muslims are the most generous people in the world. This has been said to me by even overseas visitors. And I'm wondering why you are not reaching out to the other Muslim brothers and sisters in the neighboring communities, because I'm more than certain they'll be willing to help, and your center can grow overnight. You will definitely get the additional help. What's preventing you from making that, taking that step?
Maybe it's because we are right in a township, nobody knows about us. Maybe it's because, when we're in a township, mostly people, they don't focus on the township. They're not interested in the township. Up until certain people, obviously, media, like the ITV, we are here. Alhamdulillah, people that will know us now.
Inshallah.
People that will come forward now. We are willing to work with the many organizations. Because the work that we are doing is not just a home. We are looking after people who are sick in the hospitals that need attention then. We drive to hospital to go and help them.
And what do you do there?
We buy them food, we cook for them. Anything that we do, either it's a fruit or anything, we send them to hospital. Last week we took some of our youngsters, the big boys, they were so happy first time going to hospital, to show them the love, to show them the work is not about money, is not about work, but it's all about heart. Whatever you do from your heart, alhamdulillah. And currently at our girls' home, there's an old lady that we're looking after also. She had nowhere to go. Wherever she used to stay, she was staying in the Zozo. Each time when it's rain, the Zozo will come, Lord.
So you don't turn anyone away. And I'm going to reiterate my point in that the South African Muslim community are very, very generous. And there are amazing organizations that raise funds to obviously support causes like yours. Just as this is quite a coincidence that in the last interview today, I'm going to be talking to a Dr. Fahima Ismail. She's a dentist by profession. Her father is a doctor, and they for many, many years have been running the Mdeni Madrasa in Soweto. You might have heard of them, and they're doing amazing work. So it's just really a matter of reaching out. But I do know that there's one specific issue for what's holding you back. Do you want to share it with us, please? And perhaps people will then understand it's not pride, but rather it's about identity, and it's about really looking after the African children in that specific area without too much outside interference. Please share those thoughts with us.
I would like to say there's a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Iyakum al-hasad. Save yourself from hasad, jealous. We Muslims today, like to be honest, we have jealous. We don't want to see other Muslim growing up. We don't want to see another Muslim being successful.
Not necessarily.
Yes.
We can't generalize.
Yes, you
We can't
understand.
generalize.
Exactly. So what is holding us back? People, they know about us. You understand? Sometimes it's got to do with the politics, who we see. We want to show him. You understand?
They want to take over what
over,
you've started, and you don't want that.
Whatever the intention it is, you understand? Because as I said, we don't want to call anybody's name. End of the day, it's all about, Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala has chosen us. We are in the difficult situations whereby if we cannot say it's people also. Sometimes it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want it this way, to suffer in this way. So feel it, that because you say you're doing my deen. Obviously, when you're doing Allah's deen, you don't have to look at people.
So you're quite willing to accept the help as long as they allow you your autonomy, that they don't take over totally and realize what your dream is. And you have big dreams for those children.
Exactly.
What are those dreams?
Those dreams is to make sure they go to a best school, inshallah al-aziz.
I mean.
The first thing any person comes and asks me, Ali, how can you assist? Our children need to go to the best school. Our children need to go to the best university. Our children, you need to support them through university. Our children need to support them as in the marriage. We need to support them. We have to give them that love. You have to give them everything so we can get another fruit. We can get more tree of al-barakah, more trees in the townships. Because in the township, alhamdulillah, we have many Muslims. Children, they love Islam, but they don't have Muslim homes. They go to madrasa, alhamdulillah. And then after they go to madrasa, they knock off, they go back home. A child got a school madrasa homemade. Nobody to assist at home. Nobody to take home. And we all know home is the best home. It's a best school. Madrasa, yes, is the best, but home is more than anything else. Because before you sleep, there's a dua, there's a talim, there's everything that you must sit down and say. Mudhakir of sleeping, mudhakir of eating, and all those things. Alhamdulillah. Now, in those children, some of them, they don't read Isha Salah. Some of them, they don't read Fajr Salah. Some of them, they are Muslim Monday to Friday during madrasa hours. What will happen to the weekends? The mother and the father and everybody, they go to the church. Some of them, they even go to church with their parents. You understand? So we as Al-Barakah Children's Home, inshallah al-aziz, we want to make sure every township, inshallah, it must have a home. Not necessarily must be Al-Barakah home. But somebody in the township must say, I need to do a home where I will take care of 10, 2 children, not necessarily 20, 100 children, but those 2 children that you can take care under your home. That same children, they will go back, inshallah al-aziz, they will give back to another generation to come.
Inshallah. We've come to the end of the show. How do people get in touch with you?
Anyone want to get in touch with us, inshallah al-aziz, they can call us on 084 3691 733. 084-3691-733. We are not far from Actonville. Our street is 134 Mary Motley Street. That is where our Al-Barakah, main Al-Barakah, there's a center, there's everything in there.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
We hope and pray people visit you,
Inshallah.
and people create partnerships with you and grow the Al-Barakah Children's Home, not only in your township, but throughout South Africa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for your efforts. Young men with big dreams, and not dreams for themselves, but dreams for our future leaders. So let's dig deep into our hearts and pockets and make this a reality. Welcome back. We now have the Angamya family in studio with us to talk about their journey. Little Salman was born with a hearing disability, and we are told that 2 in every 100 children that are born in Africa will present with some form of hearing disability, maybe at birth or perhaps even later in life. And the sad thing is that as time goes by, as the kids grow up and are not attended to, when the disability is not attended to, you find that over 8 million people throughout Africa, young adults and even older adults are living with a hearing disability. That needn't be so. We're going to be talking about cochlear implants and cochlear support groups with the Angamia family. Alhamdulillah, they're here to share their story with us, and I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to give hope to people watching us this morning with similar problems. And we're now talking to Sakina Angamia. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program.
Alaikum salam, thanks for having us.
Lovely to have you here. I'm so pleased you're here to share your story. Little Salman's story. Assalamu alaikum, Salman.
Wa alaikum salam.
How old are you?
I am 9 years old.
You're 9 years old, a full 9 years old. And you're not at school today because you're on holiday.
Yes.
Are you excited to be on TV?
Yes.
What do you want to say to people who have a similar problem as you?
I would say I am grateful for the opportunity to hear and have cochlear implants.
MashaAllah. When you had the operation, Mummy's just told me off air now that you've had 2 operations. One when you were 2 years old and the one was a year later. Were you in pain?
Yes.
You were. How did you manage the pain? Mom and Dad were there to love you and hug you and kiss you and make the pain go away.
Yes.
MashaAllah. Your journey must have been very, very difficult, very stressful, but also a journey full of love.
Definitely.
Salman was born. How and when did you know there was a problem?
So when he was born, we didn't realize that he had a hearing disability. We didn't do the hearing test. We didn't know at that time that we had to request a test. Everything was fine.
We just take it for granted everything's going to be done.
We thought it's part of the pediatric process where they just do everything. And after about 6 months, as a motherly instinct, I just felt something is not right with him.
What was it that you picked up that you felt something's not right?
So even if he would be laying next to the TV or if there would be loud noises around, he would sleep, and he was a very, very calm baby.
And he wasn't responding to sound at all?
Well, when you would speak to him and stuff, and he would look at you and smile, and then you just took it for granted. Okay, he can hear. The only thing is when we'd go into the car to go somewhere, he would scream and cry, and we thought, it's just the movement and stuff. He wouldn't even like to sit in the pram or in the car seat. So going anywhere was quite tough for us because it would be a long journey. We had to make a lot of stops. As soon as we took him out of the car, he would be okay. Once we put him back in, he would scream and cry.
So what was, now you know that there was a problem, what was happening in his mind or his body? What was he feeling or picking up that made him so uncomfortable that he was crying?
So at that time, it was an imbalance in the ears. So any movement would cause, the fluid and stuff.
And the pain, discomfort.
Yes, the discomfort and nausea. And because he was a baby, he obviously couldn't talk and tell us what was happening. And I took him to about 5 different pediatricians, but I didn't really think it was a hearing problem initially. They diagnosed him with low muscle tone. And I still felt, no, something is not right. And I told my mom and dad, I think maybe he needs grommets. I don't think there's something, he can't hear very well. So they said, okay, let's take him to the Hearing and Balance Center. And we took him there.
None of the doctors picked up the fact that he had a hearing
none
disability?
of the pediatricians, because they didn't really know what they were looking for.
Okay.
I just told them something is wrong, but I'm not sure what. And then I just felt, okay, after that, then he was already 8 months old. And I said, let's take him to the Hearing and Balance Center. And we took him there, and they did quite a few tests. And they said that he only has 5% of hearing.
Ooh.
And so they said, they referred us to an audiologist. And at that time, they set me down.
Now, he was a couple of months old. How does an 8-month-old child respond to an audiologist? Because I know there's a battery of tests that they take them through.
So they put something inside the ears and they connect it to a laptop. And they get readings from there.
Okay.
So it sort of sends waves or things, And they sat me down and they were like, the way forward is he has to have a hearing aid trial for 3 months. If the hearing aids don't work, he might be a candidate for cochlear implants, but also then he needs to go for an MRI and CT scan to see if the auditory nerves are working. Because if it's not working, then he remains deaf for the rest of his life. And at that moment, I think as a new mom, it hit me really hard.
Your world came to a standstill.
It came crashing down, and you're like, oh, ya Allah, what do I do now? You know, my child is in this situation. I'm a teacher, but at that time I was at home with him, looking after him. My husband had just started working, so it was a very difficult time for us. With stress, emotional stress, worry, financial worry also, because the cochlear implants at that time cost 250,000 rand each. And it felt like somebody had taken me and put me in this deep dark hole. And what do you do next? So we went to
the state hospital was not an option at all.
So we found out at that time there was a waiting list that would take about 5 to 8 years. And the language period for kids, the main is like between 3 and 5, you know.
Which means if you didn't address it there and then, how bleak would the outcome have been for Salman?
It would definitely not have been as successful as it was, because he would miss that period, and then obviously once he starts school he would be obviously way behind, and already he lost 8 months of hearing. So we needed to get it done as soon as possible. And in that time when we went to the audiologist, they're like, okay, we're giving you hearing aids. You need to do a 3-month trial with him. And at that time also he wasn't sitting because of his low muscle tone. He wasn't crawling or anything.
What is the reason for the low muscle tone? Did it have anything to do with his hearing disability?
Yes, it did.
How come? How is it related?
So with the imbalance in the ears also, and the core was quite weak. So he wouldn't be able to even sit. So then while we were doing the hearing aid trial, the audiologist put his name on the 94.7 year for life list. And
wow.
So a few months later, so after the hearing aid trial, we went back and it just wasn't working. So
now let's stop you there and talk about an 8-month-old child having a hearing aid. How do you manage? Because I mean, children are fidgety by nature. Didn't he keep pulling it out, and how did you manage that at all?
It was very, very difficult because my husband used to go to work early in the morning and I needed to see to the house and that. But immediately when we woke up and I saw to him after he had his breakfast, I would put it in and I would literally just sit with him on the couch and just keep putting it back.
As
just
he pulls it out, you kept putting it back in?
Kept putting it back, and then take him outside to try and distract him a bit and that. And it was really hard because also I had to see, is it working? Can he maybe hear a little bit? Because I would have to give feedback to the audiologist. And for me in that time, it was really, really tough because I couldn't do anything until my husband came home. And when we went back to the audiologist and I'm like, look, I feel it's not working. And they also did further tests and they're like, no, he is a candidate for cochlear implant. Now you need to go and do MRI and CT scans at the hospital. And Shukar, at that time, he was on my daddy's medical aid. And they organized authorization and everything for him to go through. And my mom and dad came with me to hospital. My husband had to be at work. And we did the MRI and CT scan. And that was so nerve-wracking because if the nerve is not working, he cannot have the implant done. So waiting.
And as all of this was now playing out, what was your mental state of mind like? And even your husband, I'll chat with him when he comes in. How did you cope? Because you can't do something like this without a support system.
Definitely not. My anxiety levels, it was through the roof. It was through the roof. But every time I looked at like my baby's face and I'm like, I need to do this for you. And I never understood what it's like to be a mother with a child with a disability. And the one day when we went to the audiologist, I was sitting there and I came across something that I read that put it into perspective. And I said, how do you explain to somebody how it is to be a parent?
What did you read?
And so I read this story of where you're going on a vacation with your friends and you all are going to, for example, Paris. And you are so excited, weeks in advance, you are reading about the place. You're so excited to see the Eiffel Tower and the other lovely places around there. You're with your friends, you're planning this vacation. And it just so happened you couldn't get on the flight as your friends, and you're like, don't worry, I'll meet you there a day later. And you're well prepared for Paris. You've packed everything. When you get on the plane, when the plane has landed, also in the plane also you're continuously reading about the different places. You're going to see the excitement, you know. And when the plane lands, the pilot says, well, welcome to Holland. And you're like, but I'm supposed to be in Paris. And you ask the air hostess, like, what's happening? The plane's supposed to have gone to Paris. I've prepared for Paris. And the air hostess, no, unfortunately, we in Holland and you have to stay here. And now you feel this anxiety because you're like, okay, my friends are now in Paris and I'm here. You get off the plane, you go to a hotel room where they book you in and you sit there and this is the place that you need to stay. Although you wanted to be in Paris.
So it's a horrible anticlimax.
Exactly.
Of all these months of preparation. We are going to be going for our ad break and thereafter your husband's going to be joining us. So inshallah he'll pick up the story from where you've left off. But very quickly, what else do you want to share with us?
That I have a Instagram page. It's Sakina5799. I would like people to follow me so that I can give them inspiration and help in,
All right.
in fundraising
you hang in
as well.
there. I think we'll let Salman go and sit in the wings and let you as husband and wife join us because there's so much that we need to hear from you as far as support is concerned. Sakina Angamia with her son Salman talking about his cochlear implant and the challenging journey that they've had for the past 9 years, and inshallah by way of their story we can give everybody out there, it doesn't matter what the disability is, what your child's disability is, listening to this family story is going to give you hope, inshallah. Welcome back. We are joined by the Angamia family. They're talking about their son Salman's journey through a cochlear implant and just how challenging it's been. We have Yusha Angamia that's now joined us on set, and he's going to give us the story from a father's perspective. But just before we swing over to Yusha, you just quickly want to wrap up the story about the analogy you were giving us about your situation.
So, yes, once you're in Holland now and you're in this hotel room, you have a decision to make. Are you going to sit inside that four walls and be depressed and continue the worry and anxiety to take over you, or are you going to go out there and see all the beautiful places that Holland has to offer? So at that time, I realized, yes, I'm in this dark room, but I need to get myself out of there to help my son to be the best that he can, although he has this hearing disability, but to be able to help him in a way that one day he will be as normal as possible.
Alhamdulillah. As we speak, Sakina, has he caught up on all those milestones of his?
Alhamdulillah, he's doing so well. He's on par with children his age. With his English and literacy, he's actually above level because he loves reading. I instilled that love of reading in him from a very young age. So he loves reading, and at school he's doing well. Alhamdulillah, he doesn't need to go to a special school. He's at a private school and he's coping well with kids his age.
Now, we know that with any hearing problem, as you indicated, there's a physical imbalance. Does that mean that he's disadvantaged as far as sport is concerned?
Definitely, because also with the devices, he needs to be careful. It gets damaged very easily. It's quite a sensitive device, and he has glasses as well. So even with sports, he still has that imbalance. It takes him a bit more time. So that's why instead of doing any type of sports, he does PE in school.
But no contact sport.
No contact sport. He doesn't have the love or, to kick a ball outside. His passion is building Lego and reading books.
MashaAllah. That means that he's very analytical. Yusha, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program. Quite a journey, hasn't it been?
Yes, it's been a long journey for us, alhamdulillah. But our purpose here today is to encourage and support those parents, because, you get this feeling of being lost. You don't know where to go and who to turn to. And I think one crucial aspect that gets overlooked is the support of your spouse that you need to provide, and vice versa.
Because if you don't do that, the marriage starts breaking apart, isn't it?
Yes, unfortunately, your relationship takes a strain if you don't be there. So obviously, mom was busy helping him throughout the day, and when I come home, I need to be there for mom and support mom and encourage mom, because there are days when it's difficult. It's been a difficult day. Salman has been slow to respond. There hasn't been much progress. So I need to be there for mom to say, mom, you know what, keep going, you're doing a great job, and we'll get there inshallah.
But definitely takes its toll,
Definitely.
physically, mentally,
Definitely.
emotionally.
Definitely.
You have to be so strong for each other.
Yes.
That also means you need a very strong support
Yes.
system. So I'm talking in-laws and outlaws.
That's it. Yes. Look, in terms of, I think you need to prioritize in terms of what is important. You know what? For now, Salman is the most important thing, and everything else needs to be put on hold. So you need to be there for Mom, you need to be there for Salman, and you need to keep encouraging and motivating Mom and Salman. And Alhamdulillah, because of that, I think Mom is putting a lot of hard work. You know, she's put her career on hold for her son, and Alhamdulillah, we've seen the fruits of that.
Benefits,
Yes.
absolutely. What was the most devastating and challenging issue for you when you'd heard that your son has a severe hearing disability, and there's a possibility that he needs to have a cochlear implant?
Look, I think everybody, when you have your first child, you want your child to be normal. The biggest fear is my child is not going to be normal. What's going to be happen? It's that fear of unknown. I think that was my biggest fear. You know, how are we going to cope? What's going to happen? It's just not knowing. And we couldn't find any sort of parents that we could relate to say, you know what, can you give us some guidance on what we can expect, what we need to do, and how is this going to play out for us?
How come didn't the specialist that you're dealing with refer you on to parents?
Unfortunately, each case is different.
Okay.
So there isn't sort of like a tick list to say, you know what, this is where we're at. So this was a learning process for us as we were going all the time. So we had to sort of adjust and say, you know what, this is where we're going and this is how we're going to do it. So because some children only have one, some can have two, some they have the implant and the implant doesn't work at all.
Because they have vocal problems as well. So that it's
because generally with kids that have hearing problems, they have a lot of other problems as well, except the hearing problems.
Sakina, let me come to you, and the journey is not over yet. It's going to be a lifelong journey, obviously. You've indicated that he's had 2 ops already. Why was the second op necessary? And going forward, he's a growing child, which also suggests that he's probably going to have subsequent implants. Talk us through that process, the whys.
So after we did the first one, he responded to it well after about 8 months to a year. And obviously having the second one done definitely gave him a big advantage, because now it's hearing from both sides.
Why was it necessary to do the second implant?
Because if we only had done, the one fourth part of the ear on the right-hand side.
So both the ears were affected?
The ears, yes. The one cochlea was upside down, which was a abnormal one. The left side, there was a bone growing through it. So both were affected. So we had to do both, otherwise he would only have hearing from one side. So that also helped him now to be in a normal school with all our hard work with him. And going forward, it continues to be a challenge, because a few weeks ago we went for the audiologist checkup, and they told us now we need to upgrade the devices. Is now they're going to...
How often do you have to upgrade?
So say probably 7 to 10 years after. Because as technology is progressing, there's different devices that are coming out, and now they're discontinuing the ones that he has. So there won't be parts available. So we need to buy maybe every 2-3 years batteries and the magnets and the coils and things. So that's why my passion now comes from this way. I would really like to help other people who are in similar situations, and at the moment, we are aiming at reaching 280,000 Rand for Salman to upgrade his devices, which will only benefit him because they're discontinuing the old ones. So we would like everyone out there, whoever is in a similar situation, to reach out to us. So we didn't have anyone. We worked on...
So you started a support group?
Yes. So I started on Instagram, Facebook.
And what sort of following do you have?
So it's going slowly at the moment. That's why we would like to make it known so that people can follow us. I put Salman's stories on there just to motivate, because recently I had a parent call me to say their child is in a similar situation and they feel they're going to put their child through the operations for no reason. They feel like it's just going to traumatize the child. And yes, Salman, when he went to the hospitals, he would scream and he would cry. It would actually go to the point where he would vomit because he wouldn't want to see doctors and that. But in the middle of the night, I would get up with panic attacks because I know I need to go to the doctor with him the next day. But we persevered and we pushed and we worked really hard with him. And I would encourage the parent, you know, just look at that. Look at your child. Now it's really, really tough at the moment. But going forward, long term, you will see how successful your child will be. But you also need to work hard with the child. So we would also, going forward, September is Deaf Awareness Month. I would like to do some fundraising, not only for my Salman, but for so many others that are in the situation where sometimes where you need that support as a family, as a community. When you're going through this, sometimes fingers get pointed, you know, especially with family.
And very especially to the woman, because
Yes.
you're the one who carried the child. So obviously you did something wrong in your pregnancy.
Yes.
That is why the child is born with this, that, or the other disability. How did you
Definitely.
deal with that?
Initially, what I would do is avoid any functions or, you know, stay away from people, because you're going through all of this and you would get questions like, what did you do in your pregnancy that, you know, made him like this? So what are you going to do now? Oh, financially, you're not well off. So we know that a family member in your family has so much of money. Why don't they give money? So fingers are pointed at each other. You know,
And people are
you know,
very cruel, aren't they?
very
We've got
cruel.
2 minutes to wrap up. Yusha, what do you want to say to our viewers this morning about the journey that you've been through, and how do you give hope?
My message is basically for those families and parents out of there that are feeling hopeless. Reach out to us. Let us make this more popular. Let us make people aware of this. And we can share our journey with you. We can share our advice with you. And hopefully we can start something that's there for many generations to come.
I mean, your closing comments, please, Sakina.
We would like everyone to please follow me on Instagram, so I can post things where they can see it gives people hope, and also to see where they can give donations. There's a website that they can go to. It's just 100 Rand a month. It goes to the Johannesburg Cochlear Implant Center, and to keep an eye open for any fundraisers that we are going to have going forward, just to help, whether it's just being there or financially or in any way.
Give us the handles or the pages or the Twitter feeds.
So on Instagram, it's Sakina5799. On Facebook, it's Sakina Ngamia Ismail. And going forward, I'll put more things on there.
Inshallah.
I just hope to get a bigger support group.
I'm going to follow you, inshallah. Go well. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Jazakallah for
May Allah
having us.
subhanahu wa ta'ala be with you. And we know
Ameen.
we'll try and catch up with you in a couple of years' time to see where you're at and how beautifully your son has grown. And please continue support for people in similar situations as you are.
Inshallah.
Jazakallah for sharing.
Jazakallah.
There you have it, the Angamia family talking about their journey through cochlear implant on their son Salman, and alhamdulillah, it seems like the story has taken a turn towards happiness, alhamdulillah. Don't go away, we'll be joined by Dr. Fatima Baba, Dr. Fahima Ismail and Safira Kaka to talk about fundraising for amazing organizations. Welcome back. In our final interview on the morning, we have two gorgeous ladies in studio with us, both doctors. The one is a dentist, Dr. Fahima Ismail and Dr. Fatima Baba. They're here to talk about something very close to their hearts, and that, of course, is to work tirelessly in the community and uplift the community by all of the hard work that they do, fundraising and making certain that the funds go to very, very worthy causes. They're here to talk about one of the biggest high teas, women's only, by the way, one of the biggest women's only high teas that's going to be happening sometime in October, and I'm going to hand over to the ladies to talk about this amazing event. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program.
Walaikum salam. Thank you so much, Auntie Julie, for having us on your show. We really appreciate it.
Well, I'd like to think that this fund, you know, whenever you're involved in charitable work, uplifting society, communities, people that are really, really having a difficult time. And you do all of the hard work. But by me interacting and bringing this to the general public, I can share in the sawab as well.
Ameen.
So Fatima and Fahima, it's so good to, well, I've interviewed you previously on oral health, I think it was. I've seen you on TV on Zahira's show, so it's not the first time that you guys are here, but it's the first time that you're talking about something that's truly, truly close to your heart. You're both young professionals with young families. How and where do you find the time to organize an event of such proportions? Fatima, you go first.
I think because it's for charity and it's something that we believe very strongly in, we make the time. It's not always easy. At the moment, I think we feel like headless chickens. We also feel very overwhelmed because, like you said, it's quite a big event, and we don't want anyone to feel like we're not giving them value for what we, want to achieve. So it's a lot of stress and pressure. But we always renew our intention that we only do it for the pleasure of Allah and also, like you mentioned, to uplift community. And I think that's where the driving force comes from, or for me at least. And yeah, we try to manage.
How did this collaboration happen, you and Fahima?
Fahima, you want to?
Yeah, so it actually started in 2017, where we thought we wanted to give back to the community. Actually, 2016 it was. And we wanted to do something for women supporting women. And we chose Women's Day, which is usually in August. So we hosted our first event, and it just took off from there.
Now, I know, Fahima, I'm not sure about Fatima, but she can concur or not. I know that you are involved with the South African Women's Forum.
Yes.
How does this tie in? How does this high tea that's going to happen in October tie in with the South African Women's Forum?
Okay, so basically myself, Fatima and Safira, we started the Pink Dress campaign.
Okay.
And then we collaborated with the Women's Forum. So we're all working in conjunction with each other. And we also invited all other forums to join with us so that we don't really alienate anybody from the event.
So how many people are involved in the organization of this Pink High Tea? I mean, I've been going on about it. I've been saying that it's a women's only, biggest ever of its kind to be seen here in Gauteng.
That's right.
What's so unique about it, Fatima?
Okay, so firstly, just to elaborate on what Fahima said. So in about 2016, we had a lady from Cape Town who came down, and she was starting an organization, Women's Only, and she was trying to raise funds. A lady that I know was, a family friend and whatever. And that's how we actually started to help her organization, which was a Women's Only. And that's when we started the Women Supporting Women campaign. So when we started, we basically give a platform to all new entrepreneurs. Our very first event, we had designers who'd never showcased before, women who just started, but it was also on a much smaller scale. We only had about 450 people then. And then came the second one when Safira approached the two of us, because we had obviously collaborated the year before that, to help them with the Pink Dress campaign for Syria. And then we sat down and we thought, how can we make this, catchy for people to come to? So we thought the Pink High Tea as the Pink Dress campaign for Syria. It ties in quite well.
So you'll stick with the pink.
So we are
That's
trying
going to be
to
the key word.
We're trying to trademark the Pink High Tea, because subsequently we've had a lot of people approach us and want to replicate or duplicate the same thing in other provinces, which we don't mind, alhamdulillah. But the Pink High Tea was started by Fahima, myself, and Safira Kaka. Three of us really good friends, alhamdulillah. None of the profits go to any of us. It's done purely for charity, in our own time, spare time, on a total volunteer basis. We have a lot of people who help us. So we've collaborated with the South African National Muslim Women's Forum. As you know, we're not an NGO, we're not registered. So we need a bank account in where to put these funds. And alhamdulillah, they've come on board and they help us, quite readily every year. We also get a lot of help from bloggers in South Africa widely. They've supported us, people like Sumi Akuji behind Kitchen Doors, Tamina Saint. Tasneem Valley. There's a lot of us.
All of those amazing people that are putting their weight behind you as far as this function is concerned. But Fahima, you come from a family of, your dad and you guys as an entire family are very involved with the Mdeni Madrasa in Soweto, and it's been a long-standing association. You guys work tirelessly. I know that you also have a mass iftar in Ramadan. That takes a lot of energy and effort as well. And here you are now spending energy on another big event. How do you do it?
So I think you need a really good support network. So my family, shukr alhamdulillah, they help quite a bit in that regard.
In the forefront, right?
Because with small kids and also a practice to run in a business, it's not easy. But like we said, to give back to our community, we feel we should do something. And we don't mind going the extra mile and the sacrifice to do this.
How do you people who, once this fundraiser happens, and this is an ongoing thing as you've indicated, how do you target specific organizations that you believe are deserving?
So we always try for an international and a local charity. That was the aim from the beginning.
That's amazing.
So in the first year, we did Light Upon Light Women's Foundation in Cape Town, and we did
the borehole
with
Two Lights Foundation.
Yeah. And that was on a much smaller scale. And then last year, alhamdulillah, we did the Pink Dress campaign with Syria.
And Baitul Halima Orphanage
with Ennerdale. So if people do follow us on Instagram, it's at Pink High Tea. We're trying to let everyone know where the funds are going. So you know exactly what is happening with the money that is being used. This year, we've partnered with Gift of the Givers, Miles for Smiles, which is the Down Syndrome Foundation, very close to my heart. A lot of family members who have special needs, so something I believe very strongly in. And obviously the Pink Dress campaign, because we have Safira with us, and that was one of the reasons we started the Pink High Tea. So I think that would be one of our ongoing charities that we will...
Because the Pink Dress campaign actually started because a Palestinian girl, when she was interviewed and asked what would she like for Eid, and she said she'd like a pink dress.
I read that story somewhere, alhamdulillah.
So that's where the Pink Dress campaign actually originated. And then last year, Yusuf Manak from CII, he actually went to the borders of Syria, and they managed to get the funds into Syria, where clothing was made for the orphans in Syria. And a part of it was also given to a boys' and a girls' orphanage in Syria.
You might have heard about the Pink Hijab Day or some such thing. How does that tie in with the pink dress? Is it the same group of people?
So we actually haven't collaborated with the Pink Hijab. I do know about it. I think I've met the organizer a few years back.
I did also host one event with them, but it's two separate events completely. Yeah.
All right. Let's go for an ad break. When we come back, we can talk about the logistics, the other people that are going to be involved. People watching us this morning who want to become involved, because it sounds like an awesome get-together. How do they do that, and the actual day itself? Dr. Fahima Ismail and Dr. Fatima Baba are in studio with me talking about one of its kind, one of the biggest high teas that Gauteng will be seeing, and inshallah it's going to grow with every passing year. This year they've targeted over 600 ladies only, and we're going to talk more about it right after the ad break. Dr. Fatima Baba and Dr. Fahima Ismail are in studio to talk about the Pink High Tea happening on the 6th of October right here in Johannesburg. They're going to give us all of the details and all of the other hardworking women that are working tirelessly behind the scenes. So Fatima, back to you. 6th of October is the big day. Let's diarize it. What's going to happen on the day?
Okay, so 6th of October is the day. It's well, we are planning for a full day event. So it's 9 to 5.
Oh, wow.
We have 22 pop-ups.
No, we have 30 pop-ups,
30 pop-ups.
and 6 food vendors.
6 food vendors.
Yeah.
The pop-ups will be open from 9 to 5.
All right, explain to me what are the pop-ups and the food vendors. How's it going to actually work on the day?
So it's almost like a little Eid festival.
Okay.
So we have lots of vendors that are selling all their wares. There's abayas, there's modest wear, shoes, clothing,
Hijabs, et cetera.
all of that.
Kiddies' clothes.
Kiddies' clothing, handbags,
beauty products.
Everything that will appeal to us girls.
Yes, so it's like but we're not saying it's for ladies only. The vendor section is open to everybody.
Okay.
So it's open to families. That's why we've got a few food vendors. So you can come out for the day with your family and spend the day. It's going to be at the Image Lifestyle Center in Fordsburg.
Previously, the pop-ups weren't open to the public,
Yes.
but this year we have opened it to the public.
How do you then control who comes into the actual event and who kind of has free access to the vendors?
Okay, so the tea itself is totally cordoned off. It's in a different section. So you can only enter the tea area if you've purchased a ticket, which is 380 Rand. So that would be from 11 to 2, right?
11 to 1.
Yeah. 11 to 1. We have a program that happens in the tea.
Which you're going to share with us in a minute or two.
We'll share with you shortly. So that's basically how we separate the two. So we've got sort of 2 areas where we've got the vendor section and then we've got the tea section. So they kind of separated from each other.
So you have the vendor section and you are indicating that make it a family day, but the actual pink ladies high tea happens from 10 o'clock to 1, 11 o'clock to 1.
So even if families want to come and while the ladies are at the high tea, the men could still
With the kids. Are you going to put on like jumping castles and entertainment like that simply because dad's going to get very tired after an hour or so with the kids?
So there is a jumping castle
Oh,
there.
wonderful.
There is a
Image
a
Lifestyle
jungle
has a
gym.
play area.
Okay.
They've got a play area for the kids. They also have, we have the unicorn stand which sells slime and things for kids.
Yeah.
So you'll have the kids entertained whilst moms and all the girls are in at the high
So
tea.
it's a day for the ladies to spoil themselves because you
Wonderful.
don't really get an opportunity to do that. Yeah.
What's going to happen at the actual tea?
So
I'm
at-
talking about motivational speakers perhaps and
So-
just for us to feel good and great about ourselves once the event is over.
So we're having a brunch for the ladies. That's why it's from 11 to 1. And then we're going to have a comedy show with Bash with Tash.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And
How long does that run for? About a half an hour?
half an hour. And we're going to have 2 motivational speakers.
Who are they?
We're having Zaira Bam. She will give one talk. And then another motivational speaker. A lot of people might not know of her, but her name is Lutfia Saluji. She lost her husband 2 years ago, and she's a diabetic from the age of 8 years and a mom of 2. So we wanted somebody in the community because people want to hear real life stories. So last year we had makeup and hijab tutorials. They were really nice. But this year a lot of people wanted more motivational speeches.
Fatima, what else can you... Let's talk about the women behind the scenes. And I know you have a lot of people that have put their might behind you guys to make this happen. You're catering brunch for over 600 people. How's that all going to come together?
So with the ticket sales, we basically obviously pay for our vendors and our food, which comes with obviously the venue hire. We are still looking for a headline sponsor, and inshallah we will get one of those because that would help us increase the amount that we can give to charity. Last year, about 90% of our food, excluding what was included in our obviously catering price, was donated by a lot of people from the community.
So going forward, are you not having a similar situation?
No,
donated?
We are. So if you follow us, you'll see that we're constantly asking for sponsors, food items, drinks, baking, whatever you can give us to make the event more memorable, and just something where the ladies can come in, unwind, relax, enjoy a beautiful brunch, have some good laughs, spend a day with your friends.
Are you going to have a time for networking where just kind of nothing's going to happen?
Yes.
People can move around from table to table,
Yes,
or
of course.
interact with the speakers, etc.?
Definitely. So we're not having a program where it's full. There will be times where you'll be just doing nothing, enjoying the food. We're also encouraging people to bring out your tiaras and your hats, because that's our theme. Hopefully with a touch of pink, since it is the pink high tea. So that's the theme for this year,
And another thing is we're also grateful to the venue, Image Lifestyle venue, as they go the extra mile to make the function a success. So all the lovely decor and things that you see on the day, it's not money that we've actually spent. They actually do that for us at no charge. And also the hall that the vendors use for the day, they actually don't charge us for that.
Okay, so let's tantalize people's taste buds by talking about what they can expect at the brunch and what else is going to be exciting and interesting on the day.
So at the brunch, we're going to have a variety of desserts, savories,
right?
All the sweet things. So there's no time to diet on that Sunday, because you're just going to enjoy yourselves, drinks and snacks.
To cater obviously right across the board for all different tastes.
Different palates. So we try and have a nice variety, a good spread, but also just to let the viewers out there know that whatever is left on the day is not discarded. So we basically will then repack all the leftover food, because last year we noticed we had quite a bit left over.
But that's not suggesting that people shouldn't offer, because whatever's left over goes to orphanages, old age homes, etc.
Last year we gave it to the Mdiani Muslim Association, and every year, if there are extra sponsored tickets, we actually give it to people in the community that cannot afford to attend the high tea. So we also, last year there were a few ladies from the Mdiani Muslim Association, and they thoroughly enjoyed the event, as they don't get the opportunity to attend such events.
So that's also another thing that we try and do, is we try and get as many tickets sponsored as we can. Obviously, we want the community to come, but there are so many people in our community who would love to attend but can't. And, we try and get them. But we're also doing a bit of empowerment where we have 2 vendors who are still up and coming, who actually couldn't or don't
have the finances
to do it, and we are promoting. Yes, we're promoting them.
So tell us about them.
So we have, I'm sure you've heard about her, Aisha Dimpo from Nyota Collections.
Yes.
So she's going to be one of our vendors who we are empowering from a woman empowerment perspective. And we also have...
The other one is Dawood. He's known as Coconuts About You. He was actually a vendor on Church Street in Mayfair.
Wow.
That makes coconut juice. So if you see him with a trolley and all the coconut, you'll know it's him. So he's actually going out to these fairs, and we decided to give him a platform to exhibit his juices on the day, so that people can give him the opportunity as well.
People who want to become a part of supporting you, let's assume they don't have the funds to support you, but they'd like to do some cakes or whatever it is there a criteria about the type of stuff, amounts, quantities, etc.?
No. We have no... well, obviously, it needs to be nice and palatable, obviously. We're assuming that all health, standards have been met, but we really don't have it. Whatever you can give us, alhamdulillah, we take it with open arms. We will display it. We'll put it on the tables. The more, the better, because people can have
Nothing's going to go to waste.
Nothing will go to
waste.
waste.
Sorry, one more thing we missed out in the program was the Image Makers Awards, which we started last year. Yasmin Aku from Image Lifestyle, she decided to give awards to ladies in the community who do such good work and normally are not recognized.
That's going to be very difficult.
Yes.
I mean, I was talking to our first guests who run a madrasa in a township on the East Rand, and I said to them that I've been told by overseas guests that South African Muslims are the most generous Muslims they've ever come across in the world. So to actually identify an image maker is going to be difficult.
Yeah, but the thing is, you see a lot of people just on social media, they've been recognized. But this, we're actually asking people to come forward, even with nominations of people they think in their community who's making a difference, and people don't know about those individuals.
Wow. So on our social media platforms, in about maybe a week or so, we're going to start asking for nominations and why you think the person needs to be, recognized. And we're trying to recognize women who get, left by the wayside. I mean, there are so many women in the townships, in the communities, not people that we know that are working effortlessly and tirelessly to build their communities. Absolutely. And those are the women that we want to, award and say thank you for doing the work that you're doing.
I love that.
And last year we got a lot of exposure, especially on Instagram, when Safira and I and Fatima started the touch of the Pink Challenge. And Sumi Akuji, one of the food bloggers, then challenged everybody to donate R1 for every like that they have on their page. So everybody had to post a pink flat lay on their Instagram page, and the funds were enormous that we raised from there.
We've got 2 minutes to wrap up. What are you hoping to raise this year, Fatima?
So we raised just under $500,000 last year.
Wow.
We're hoping to go more than that this year.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, with Allah's help. Also to renew our intention to get all the women of our communities together, have a lovely fun day. And lastly, we also have an auction on the day. So please be generous. Come with your cards.
What are you auctioning? You can't tell at the moment.
We can't tell you right now. We're still collecting them. They will be displayed, and you can also bid online. And we'll take it from there.
Finally, for people who want to make a contribution, financial or perhaps bake or cook or give drinks for the event, how do they get in touch with you?
So they can contact me, they could WhatsApp me or even on my Instagram. My number is 073-786-7572, or they could also contact Fatima. And
mine is 082-551-6104, and you can find me on Instagram at Dr. Baba Aesthetics.
There you go, and amazing. I'm blown away by you girls, and really and truly admire you for, having such busy professional lives, growing families, and you still make the time to think of those less fortunate in our midst. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of your efforts, inshallah. And I know it's going to be a huge, big success. Look forward to attending, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum to you. There you have it, the two doctors, Dr. Fahima Ismail and Dr. Fatima Baba, talking about the biggest high tea that Gauteng will be seeing on the 6th of October at Image Lifestyle. If you haven't got your ticket, please make sure that you do so now. You don't want to be left out. And that's where we leave it. Thank you for joining us. Until the next time, as always, take care on the roads. And Khudafez from me, Julie Alli.
جمعة الخير هلا، حني قلبي على جمعة